If a society forces you to play the villain, is it still a crime to burn it to the ground? Welcome to the Lore Tribunal. Today we put the most hated god of history on trial, not to excuse his chaos, but to expose the hypocrisy of his creators. Every system requires a monster to justify its walls. For Asgard, that monster was born in the frozen, unforgiving wastes of Jotunheimr, a child of frost giants, abandoned to die. Yet, Odin saw utility in the orphan's blood. Through a sacred oath of blood brotherhood, the outcast was brought into the light of the golden halls, not as a brother, but as a tool. Loki's nature was fluid. He was the shadow that made the light visible, the spark of chaos that forced the rigid Asgardian order to adapt, to change, and to survive. But Asgard fear prophecy more than they value loyalty. When Loki fathered children, the gods did not see life. They saw weapons destined to tear down the heavens. They chained his blood. They exiled his kin. And in doing so, they broke a father's soul. An eye for an eye, a child for a child. Asgard's rulers thought they could steal Loki's children and lock them away forever without paying a price. But a father's anger doesn't just disappear. For centuries, Loki waited in the dark, planning his revenge. If the gods took his family, he would destroy theirs. To break the gods, Loki targeted Odin's favorite son, Baldr. Baldr was so loved that his mother, Queen Frigg, made every single thing on Earth swear an oath never to harm him. Fire, iron, stone, and beasts. Nothing could harm him. The gods laughed, believing they were safe forever, standing completely above the rules of pain. But their safety was a lie. Baldr's mother had ignored one tiny plant, thinking it was too small to be dangerous. The mistletoe. Loki found this secret. He made an arrow from that tiny plant, gave it to a blind god, and guided his aim. With one shot, the untouchable god bled and died. Loki gave Odin and Frigg the exact same nightmare they gave him. The unbearable crush of a dead child. Loki did not run. He stood before the terrified gods and laughed at their hypocrisy. He exposed their dirty secrets, their broken promises, and screamed the truth to their faces. You are not better than me. You're just better at hiding your crimes. Asgard's response was pure brutality. They captured Loki's remaining human sons, Narfi and Vali. They cursed Vali, turning him into a wolf, and forced him to rip his own brother to pieces. The holy gods became the worst monsters. There was no trial for the outcast, only brute revenge. Dragged into the deepest, darkest cave beneath the earth, Loki was bound to sharp rocks, not with iron, and not with ropes, but with the cold, bloody intestines of his own slaughtered son. Above his head, a giant serpent dripped burning acid onto his face. His faithful wife, Sigyn, caught the poison in a bowl, but every time she left to empty it, the acid scorched his flesh, Loki's screams of agony shook the entire earth. This is not just an ancient myth. It is a mirror to our modern reality. Every society creates its own Loki. We isolate those who don't fit in, label them as monsters, and chain them to our judgment. Then, we wonder why they want to burn our world to the ground. You cannot destroy a man's soul and expect him to respect your peace. The chains will snap, and Ragnarok is just the final bill that every hypocritical system must eventually pay. The lore tribunal is adjourned. Was Loki a true monster, or just a father pushed to the absolute edge by a corrupt system? Tell us in the comments, subscribe, and see you at the next trial.